Welcome back. Missed a week. It was a pretty crummy week last week, so I just wasn't feeling it for a video. But here I am this week. I've got my favorite summertime cologne on, not sponsored. Because the mosquitoes right now are ridiculous. I had to fight two off of me the other day with a sword because it was so, no, I'm just, okay. So right now it's getting warm in the shop. It's early in the morning on Saturday. Early for me, it's 10:30. And it's 90 already. So we're in that heat wave you probably read about on the news or didn't read about on the news if you're smart and didn't read the news at all. So I'm gonna have to wrap this up before it gets too ridiculous out here and I die, sort of like last Thursday when I got heat exhaustion from trying to mow the lawn. It was in the 90s, but it also had a 90% humidity outside. So it was pretty close to the end of where I needed to be. So cold shower and a little bit of rest in the air conditioner and I'm all good. Just so you know that the universe is not completely a traffic jam of crap and terribleness. I'm of course speaking about Facebook Marketplace. Oh, that's a disappointment. Ooh, foul language inserted here.
You have to use so many cuss words.
Okay, I wanted to reorganize that anyway. No, I didn't. I had just finished organizing it. I bought a Coleman 2-burner propane stove from some fellow who had to move and he's having a moving sale. It's 2-burner and it's propane. Unlike my existing setup of my 425C, which is liquid fuel, this is propane, and I'm actually kind of hoping it really actually works. I don't have any of the propane bodily things right now, but Mr. Fisher was happy to hear about it because now he doesn't have to worry about if I'm going to catch the entire place on fire using liquid fuel. Dennis, who has a really cool built-out rig, Overlander here, semi-famous in Oklahoma. He and his son have some pretty cool Jeep rigs, and he uses a Propex propane heater for his tent, which works pretty good, and he said the 5-gallon bottle was perfect, and you can use it several times before it runs out. So I'm gonna take his advice and probably purchase a 5-pounder first. I can always use my 20-pounder if I wanted to, but I don't have a place that big to mount it yet. So that'll be something we need to think about if we do extended trips, that we would need something on the back of the truck to hold a propane tank. So good stuff there. All right, the whole reason I brought you here today, that's not why you come. I know, I did bring you, but this thing has literally not been used. I mean, there's no splatter up here. This might have been cooked on twice. There's a little bit hot right here. This might have been only used once or twice. So I paid $10 for it. Yeah, that's a good score. All right, so the reason I brought you here today is to plan some lights for my Range Rover. Okay, so the whole idea of the lighting thing is, while sleeping inside of the Range Rover, which my beautiful slumber will be right over there, I want to be able to light the outside of the vehicle up while I'm still inside the vehicle. So basically somewhere on the side here, maybe here, I'm not sure, maybe even out here. I'm not quite confident in my lighting plan yet on this. But the idea is that there will be a light here, a light here, of course that's the back, and a light here, or here, or you saw the conversation about where they might be over there. Anyway, and so I can light them all up from inside here. So switches and all that kind of cool stuff would be needed. So when you're not quite as bright as you used to be maybe, or you didn't study as hard as you probably should have.
I'm not a moron, you know.
When you were in electronics school, when you were 15 years old, you probably, and I guess if you haven't used something for, what does that work out to be, 45 years, you lose a little bit, and you don't just retain as much as you think you should. So basically, I had to go get some help from a friend. Oh, sorry for the close shot. I went and got some help from a friend, Jag guy, who has all the Jaguars. My best friend from high school, who I've known since the summer of 19, what year was that? 81, I guess. We were in school together since 1979, but I met him in earnest and started being his buddy when we were both in driver's ed school over at the high school. Back when they had driver's ed at the high school. But we would go in the summer and I would ride my 10-speed from my house. I was 15 and a half, I guess. Yeah, that would be 1980. And I would ride my bicycle from my house, and Ronnie Hancock, who today is a drag racer, an amateur drag racer, I think. Anyway, I'm sure he competes with money if he can. Anyway, Ronnie and I would ride my bicycle or walk or whatever it took to the high school, actually the cafeteria, which they just knocked down this week. It's served its life. And we would go to the driver's ed school. I'm rambling. All right, so Mike, however, had a motorcycle and would ride all the way from Highway 9, which is several miles, on that motorcycle because he had a 14-year-old motorcycle permit. And I thought he was the coolest kid on the planet when he did that. So anyway, we met about half of a year later playing D&D and had a common group of friends from that. And we were inseparable ever since. So anyway, I've been the best man at both of his weddings, and I can be the best man at all of his weddings, he said. So that's pretty cool. I got that going for me, right? All right, so anyway, Mike put together a drawing of how would you set up lights that would come on and still be able to be used individually. So what do I want to be able to do? I want to be able to turn one light on by itself, or two lights on by itself, or three lights on by themselves, or however many lights are up there, I want to be able to turn them all on with one switch. Yes, I know, how clever of me. All right, so Mike scribbled, because geniuses really don't care about order or graphic arts. He scribbled this down for me, which was really cool. I was close, I want to say that. Did I bring my copy out here? I didn't bring my copy. I was close. I was really close. I have to say that in my own defense, that I had it sort of figured out. I didn't have the extra connection, the down connection from the light. I didn't have the positive from the relay switches also marked down to positive. I didn't know what to do with that. So anyway, I was close. So that's where we are, and I'm going to stick to my story on that. So I redrew that so that you could see it in a really, really nice, clean version. So that's the idea. Now, the fun part is, I was thinking maybe I could get some lights, pull the battery out of the Range Rover, and set that stuff up and prove that I can do it just with parts. But unfortunately, I'm going to be spending an hour reorganizing the parts bin that just fell off the bench when I wanted to cuss earlier. And I need to know if I have enough alligator clips to like clip stuff together, which I'm not sure that I do, but I do have some lights. hanging around back here in my cardboard storage. I just moved this back here and now it's in my way. How funny is that? But I do have some lights I can play with. Got a couple of lights here. Couple of lights. Yay. Here's my round ones, my original round ones. Those served me well until they broke. But I did glue them back together with steel and strappages and stuff. That's what originally it should look like. But anyway, I cobbled that together so it wouldn't wobble all over the place. But nonetheless, I have some lights and I could fiddle fart with those and see if I could get those working. I'm not going back past my cardboard. Oh yes I am. Dang it. I'll be smart and lift it up this time. All right, so I'm gonna put on a Western on the TV and reorganize my mess of wires and contemplate the universe and whether I have enough alligator clips to make a drawing, make that work. So that's what we're going to be doing while you're waiting, so you won't even notice.
2 hours later.
Okay, I think we figured it out. All right. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, there he is over there, and there he goes. That's a Bewick's wren, I think, and he wants to nest in the garage in the shop. So he's been eyeballing me all day today with the garage door open. I caught him in here yesterday, so I got to tell him like you can't live here, so go somewhere else. Seriously, go somewhere else. All right. Okay, so we got it. I finally got it. All right, I don't have both hooked up because I don't have enough connectors and switches. My switches were trash, so I couldn't use any switches. So that kind of sucked. But I got it. So here it is. Yeah, that doesn't look like much, does it? All right, but if we connect this ground to that ground, I get a light. Oh, magical! So the switch should be, this would be a full setup. So actually this would be a switch right here if I had a switch. So that's my switch. But I'm so excited. That's pretty cool. So the relay's here, you can see it. But you can see I've outlined out where each thing goes. And then I'll come back up here and relabel this to a ground power thing, switch thing. And then I'll know how this goes. The next step will be to wire the diodes in. Let me get to grab a diode real quick here. I decoupled 2 of them from the container. All right, there's 2. So that's one of the diodes that goes here. So nice, big, fat, good stuff. Mike gave me the lowdown on where to buy this stuff from. It's the same stuff he uses to build the trailer components for his side gig, where he converts military power plugs and connect trailer connections to civilian and backwards, depending if you have a military trailer or a military truck and a civilian truck or a civilian trailer. He builds a conversion box for that. I think he said he built 1,200 of them. So he sells quite a few. So he spends his Saturdays doing that. So if you have a military vehicle and you want to convert the cables, you want to get a box built for you that has wonderful quality. I promise you it is the best quality stuff. He's your man. I'll leave a link in the description. So if that's one of your things, or you're thinking about like, how would I go about doing that? He's got you covered. So you just buy one of his boxes, and depending on which vehicle you have, he even has NATO versions. So if you live, I remember from some odd number of years ago, like Denmark has a slightly different version than Norway. And so he sorted that all out, so he just finds out where you are and what you want, and then he makes you a box. So good stuff. All right, I'm pretty stoked. It's just no surprise to me that if I just sit down long enough and reason things out, that I can make magic happen.
and there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
And I did. Kind of proud of myself. All right, that's all I got. It's starting to get hot in here. It's cruising up to 95 right now. I don't know what the outside temperature is. It's probably silly. The swimming pool looks really inviting right now. It says it's 86 outside. Is it cooler outside than it is in the shop? That should tell you something about how hot it is in here. All right, that's about it. Thanks for, whoops, I've got a commercial on in the background. Boom. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe, as my son would say. And I'll see you next week.